All right, guys, what is happening?
What's happening?
We have been having some fun at the house. We've had a productive weekend. One of the topics that keeps coming up is understanding the connection phase, right? And one of the things I think a lot of times people misunderstand is when do you connect, who do you connect, how do you connect, what do you say, why do you connect, at what point in the process do you connect? I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you have a friend that wants to make money and you have someone you're working with who's made money, say, hey, you wanna make money? My buddy's made some money, let me connect you. I haven't made anything, I'm new. It just makes common sense, right? If you have a friend who speaks Chinese and she comes in and then you have someone in your team who speaks Chinese, you're like, hey, I have a friend who can speak your language.
Yes.
Think about that. If you run the band and some dude comes rolling into the band and he's got drumsticks, someone's gonna go, oh, it appears that you wanna play percussion instruments. The drummers are over there. They come rolling in with a clarinet or clarinet, then
the flute.
Whatever.
Oh,
the wind,
clarinet.
No, clarinet's here, the flute's here.
Oh.
The wind instruments are over there. Let me connect you with the proper people. Does that make sense? Like, the same is true with our product and our business. If somebody comes in and they say, you know what, I'm looking for this or this or this, you're going to play what's called directional awareness marketing. DAM, D-A-M, DAM. Like a dam stops a river. Most of us, I'm having it now, as the opening of this video, we get diarrhea of the mouth. We're so excited about ketones, we want to go tell everybody everything.
Right.
We need a dam to go, oh, hold on a second, and then you're going to utilize tools, resources, and people to validate that person's curiosity, because you've created curiosity with your story, which Nat's going to talk about right now. You've created curiosity with your Prove It t-shirt, your Prove It hat, your shaker bottle, your Prove It Tesla, your Facebook post, you're aggressively shaking your keto bottle at a coffee shop, whatever it was that caused the person to go, huh, what is that? What do you do at that point? What do you say? You've created curiosity, you've approached somebody, you've contacted somebody, but like how and when does the connection phase work? We're gonna cover that in a moment, but I can promise you what she covers right now is going to determine whether you have an audience that's this big and interested or this big and interested.
For sure.
So talk to us about how do we share our story. When somebody says, what is that? Or is like, what's this all about? Like, how do you tell your Prove It story, your product story?
Absolutely. So telling your story is one of the absolute most important things, because once you pique somebody's interest, they're like, what is it? How does it work? So I'm gonna give you guys 3 sentence starters. Do you remember in kindergarten, your kids, I have these all saved from my kids, right? And it's like, my favorite thing I did this summer was, and then your kid fills in the blank, right? Because the teacher says like, look, we need to narrow it down. Because if you set a blank piece of paper in front of a kindergartner and you say, write a story, they're like, where do I start? So it's a little like the same thing here. And before I tell you what those 3 things are, let me just reiterate what he just said. So the benefits that we talk most about here with Prove It, and the benefits that are compliant to talk about, which is super important, is energy, mood, fat loss, focus, and sleep. Write them down, memorize, rewind, say it again. Fat loss, focus, energy, mood, and sleep. Have those 5 memorized, because here's what I know about those benefits. It doesn't matter if they're old, if they're young, if they're overweight, if they're thin, if they're fit, if they're not fit, if they've never been to the gym before. It doesn't matter if they're healthy or they're in the worst shape of their life. Everybody needs energy, mood, focus, fat loss, and sleep.
It doesn't matter if they have an eye patch, if they have a peg leg, if they're left-handed, right-handed, live in Arkansas.
If they are missing 4 fingers, if they have big toe-itis, it doesn't matter. They're looking for energy, mood, focus, fat loss, and sleep. It doesn't matter what they have going on. Those benefits are amazing. So here's what I see most often that's kind of the pit of like, oh my gosh, how did we even go down this road? Is we tell our story in a way that would narrow the focus down to a benefit that I had that does not involve energy, mood, focus, fat loss, and sleep. I talk about my condition. I talk about my story. I talk about something that I have, right? Let's say I have big toe-itis. I mean, it's a real thing, people. Look it up. I say, dude, I started taking ketones. I had big toe-itis, and now my big toe-itis is absolutely amazing. Like, I feel my big toe feels better than it's felt in years. And he comes back to me and he says, oh my gosh, big toe-itis. Well, guess what? I have elbow-itis. Like, will this help my elbow-itis because it helped you with big toe-itis? it opens up this whole conversation to go down a direction that me as a stay-at-home mom with no college degree, I'm not your doctor, I'm not your nurse, I'm not your health practitioner, I'm not your chiropractor, I'm not whatever you've got going on, I'm not your big toe-itis or your elbow-itis specialist. I can't even answer your question when we go down that road. And it opens up his mind to a whole bunch of stuff that we shouldn't be talking about, right? I'm a stay-at-home mom from Springfield, Missouri, talking about ketones and energy, focus, mood, fat loss, and sleep. That's it. So when I tell my story to him, I'm gonna tell the story in a compliant way with one or all of those things. So I would say, you say, hey, what do you know about ketones or ketosis? I don't know anything about it. And I'd say, listen, here's the deal. Here's the really cool thing. I know you're a dad. I'm a mom. Before Prove It, super, super tired.
Before Prove It.
Secret number one. Before Prove It, I was. So before Prove It, I was tired. Man, I hardly made it to the afternoon without feeling like I needed to take a nap. I wasn't all that I could be for my kids. And I just kind of struggled with energy, and I wasn't sleeping good at night. I'm up all the time to go to the bathroom, like all this mom stuff going on. I was tired, okay? Since starting with Prove It, story starter number 2, since starting with Prove It, I've experienced the most amazing sustainable energy. I drink a Keto Max in the morning, and I feel awesome throughout the whole day. I have great mood. I'm joyful when my kids come home from school. I can tuck them into bed and I still have energy to hang out with my husband, right? I still have energy to hang out with my husband, and it's absolutely awesome. Like, this has really, really helped me. And what I'm most excited about is shredding some pounds. Like, what this looks like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days for me, I want to get in really, really awesome shape. That was number 3. And what I'm most excited about in the future, because this isn't like a 5-day thing that I'm going to do, I'm communicating to him like, dude, this is something that I'm committed to. So before Prove It, I was, talk about energy, mood, focus, sleep, and fat loss. What was it like for you before?
It isn't, I used to have this thing with a title. If you say the title of a thing,
you've lost. You have lost.
It's not compliant. It's not the thing to do. And 2, it takes an unlimited amount of people who might be interested and channels it into this thing. 3, here's one of the most challenging parts, is it opens up this huge medical box where everybody wants to science you to death. And it creates this need to answer a million medical questions before somebody will even try a sample. But you gotta remember, they didn't ask the lady at Starbucks or the lady at McDonald's or the lady at anything or the dude at anything about what was in that, but all of a sudden, because we've made it this medical thing, because we talked in our story about like these really technical, again, if it has a title, other than those things, then we've opened ourselves up to vulnerabilities that we can't then go validate. And it requires, once that happens, don't lose your train of thought, once that happens, we open ourselves up like this as a new prover who's in a day or a week or a month, to then all of a sudden play ping pong with people about all this scientific stuff.
Don't.
And it turns your mixers into non-replicatable science meetings, and you guys,
it steals your time.
People want to feel better. If you're buried in chats, this is why.
100%.
People want to feel better. That's what they know. That's what I know. They want to feel better.
When I get the chat, I'll say, hey Natalie, you got to meet my friend Michael. He's got big toe-itis. Tell him about Prove It. I say, like if you've been in a chat with me, you know, I'll say, Michael, I'm so excited to meet you. I don't know anything about big toe-itis, but here's what I know. I've been drinking Pure Therapeutic Ketones, and I have great energy, mood, focus, sleep, and fat loss. I feel amazing. Like, that's it. I don't know anything about XYZ. I don't know anything about that condition. I don't know anything about that medication. I don't know anything about that supplement that you're taking. I don't know about that, but here's what I do know. I'm taking Pure Therapeutic Ketones. I feel like an amazing boss mom. I've got energy, amazing sleep, and I'm losing some fat. Like, I imagine that would be awesome for you too. Whatever it is that you experience, those are the things. Because what I've learned about all the people who have that thing, whatever that thing is, big toe-itis, twisted elbow-itis, no-itis, pirate-itis, which is an eye patch, a peg leg, and the use of the word "arr" all the time. Do you know anyone like that? Yeah, let me ask you this question just for fun. What's a pirate's favorite letter? Arr! You would think so, but it'd be the C. Oh, no. We We digress. We digress.
But think about that. If we can keep our stories simple, like just simple, and it isn't about, A, it's not compliant, which should be enough, and B, even though it isn't compliant, it's also really, it makes it really challenging to go into these medical conversations because it slows everything down. What I've known about or learned about most people who have whatever it is that they have, they want to feel better.
Yes.
Generally. And you're not their physician, you're not their OBGYN, you're not their pediatrician, you're not their anything. You're probably their neighbor or their aunt or their nephew.
Your buddy.
You're not qualified to get into any of that stuff. Hand me that magazine real quick.
Yes.
So like the DAM strategy is directional awareness marketing. This magazine is so valuable because it puts Dr. Dom in your back pocket. Your friend doesn't need to know every single medical question they're asking you. All they're telling you is, I'm not quite there yet, Bill. I'm not quite there yet.
Oh, how does ketosis work? That's a great question. Check this out.
That's a great question. Read this. So use this as a tool and a resource. We get so stuck into thinking everybody needs to know everything about everything, and it slows down the speed. If you want to multiply your business, simplify it. Well, instead what we do is we get into all this really technical stuff, which for somebody that wants to go technical, I didn't. I was just a fat, tired guy who wanted to feel better, and I really didn't give a rip what was in it because I drank a Mountain Dew the day that I was introduced to keto and I was trying to go to Chick-fil-A, okay? So like, I didn't need to know anything about the magazine. Most people don't. I got to give you a pro tip. 8 out of 10 people don't care. Good news.
Need to know.
The good news is that pure therapeutic ketones are amazing and they're great for you, and scientifically it checks out really well, and it's all in the magazine. Should you need additional resources, content, information, science, research, it's in a few places. Like, what do you like to use? You use the magazine.
I use the magazine. I think the corporate Facebook page, facebook.com/justproveit. Go to videos. I mean, there's literally hundreds of videos on there with Dr. Heather, Dr. Andy, so many resources on there. Another great one is the FAQ. Before I ask anybody any question, I say, hey, let me check the FAQ quick. When somebody says, well, what's the sodium, blah, blah, blah. Great question, I'm gonna send you the FAQ. Check this out. If it doesn't answer your questions, hit me back.
I'm on the Facebook page, facebook.com/justproveit. Click videos from your phone. I don't know if you can see this, you probably can't. The campfire videos at the top. Does that make sense? When your friend's interested, campfire video #1. Below it, I would just consider it to be an onion peel.
Yeah.
It's just chapter 2. Chapter 1, what do you know about ketones or ketosis? Watch the campfire video. I feel amazing. Before Prove It, I was this. Since drinking ketones, now I'm this. What I'm looking forward in the future is this. When they click into the video section, underneath the campfire video, Ketone Clarity Series. 14 videos right here. Keto Clarity 011. The Keto Reboot, Optimized Lifestyle, Leveraging Patents for Better Technology. Keto and Clarity, Charged First Uncharged. There's 14 videos.
It's Dr. Jacob and Dr. Ryan. I would much rather hear from Dr. Jacob and Dr. Ryan than my neighbor who just got started yesterday all day long. So stop trying to be the neighbor who started and is the expert. Let the experts do the talking for you. And the coolest thing is when you want to build a really, really big business, which I assume you do, nobody probably gets started with tiny goals. You get started with really big goals. Why would I even try to be Dr. Dom? I just say, hey, read this article about Dr. Dom. Let the experts do the talking for you, and you say, I don't know anything about that, but this is what I feel. Mood, energy, focus, fat loss, and sleep. Whichever one of those or all of those that you're feeling, that's what you focus on and you talk about.
You guys, there's a Live with the Prove It Specialist tab. 20 videos. Dr. Jacob Wilson, Dr. Andy, Dr. Heather, Dr. Mary Newport.
I mean, it's loaded.
30 minutes per. Like, in what world do you think you need more resources than just that one to validate your neighbor who hasn't felt good in 10 years? In 10 years. Like, what more than that do we need? Like, the magazine, some samples, your authentic story that casts a wide net about basic things that people want to feel. They want to feel better. And like, the more that we nail this, connect people with people for certainty. You're not connecting somebody to your Champ 6, so your Champ 6 can have 75 chats going, the sodium is this, ketones for elbowitis is this.
Don't do it.
That's not the world we're in, you guys. It's about simplifying that whole thing down and really diving in and going, let's be smart about our business. Let's work hard and smart. Let's hustle and be smart. And I think one of the biggest differences is you'll notice, as Jody was saying earlier, it's kind of chicken and an egg. As people simplify their prove it stories, their better stories, they're going to get less sort of medical questions and these technical questions.
Yes.
And the less that we invest time in those, look, those videos under the Prove It Facebook page with all the specialists, if it's not found in there and it's not told by the people that are in those videos, you surely, legally, compliantly cannot address it. You can't. In a group, in a page, in a chat, in a text,
at
nothing.
Starbucks.
Nothing.
Cut it out.
So I'll promise you, if you want a really fast business, simplify the stories. Simplify the stories to conversations that are compliant and actually fast. Because people just want to feel better. Use the magazine, use the Facebook page, use your own website that has the Learn tab, Keto U, the FAQs.
ProveItNow.com/KetoU is an awesome one.
And then get really good at using resources when somebody asks a question about whatever it is or whatever you know that they're interested in because you asked them, connect them with another human being that's been down that road.
And here's the cool thing. It doesn't take away the idea that in order for me to grab a new customer, I need to connect them with a champ or I need to connect them with Michael Rutherford. Here's the cool thing. If someone has had any experience on Pure Therapeutic Ketones, they are a story that you can utilize. So I think one of the greatest things that we're missing, we're talking to promoters, right?
Yes.
I think one of the greatest things that we're missing is getting our customers to start sharing their story with potential customers. Because here's what I know. If Michael is my neighbor and he's a customer, he's not a promoter, he's not interested, blah, 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 and he's lost 40 pounds, if he'll allow it, I can use him as a great resource. Hey, my mom wants to lose 40 pounds. Will you tell her what your experience is? Hey, Michael, real quick, I got my mom before Prove It. What was your life like? I would just prompt him. Okay, and now what's your life been like since you've been on Pure Therapeutic Ketones? And what are you most looking forward to?
Use your customer as a validator. You
don't have to use somebody who's making $10, $20, $50, $100,000 a month to validate somebody in your business. Use the customers. And the coolest thing is, promoters, if we get customers to start sharing their story, it's going to help him share the story with his neighbor, which will help him get his product for free. Like, a story can be somebody who joined my business yesterday. Oh, you're a tired mom? 3 days ago, I helped a tired mom get started. Let me tell you what's transpired in the last 3 days. Let me grab her. You don't have to wait around for Michael or me or whoever you use to validate the story. Use the current customers inside of your team to tell their story. Use your cross-line buddies to tell their story. Just collect stories. One of my mentors in network marketing, Michael, he said, Nat, the person who collects the story is the biggest winner. The person who collects the most stories is the biggest winner. So one challenge for all of you is collect the stories. So that when I bump into him and he says, hey, I'm in my late 30s, I'm a dad, I'm a little overweight, I've got 3 kids, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I say, story, 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 connect. You ready? Story, 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 connect. You ready? Like, when you can do that, it will make the game move so much faster. And also to just revalidate, if you don't go down the medical road, if you don't talk about big toe-itis and pyriditis and all of that, it just doesn't come up. Like, I don't get a lot of medical questions from my friends and my neighbors, but I get a lot of them coming in from other people because you talk about something, you post about something, what you share on Facebook, articles and things like that. If I don't have that specific thing, I think I'm scrolling, oh, ketones aren't for me because that's for XYZ. But if you have this huge net of sleep, guess what? All your friends on Facebook need to sleep better. If you have this huge net of focus and energy and fat loss and better mood, if you're a mama talking about better mood in the afternoon, guess what? You've probably got hundreds of mamas just like you that are crabby in the afternoon. Like, that's what you gotta talk about.
It's about speed. It's about simple and speed and being able to reproduce your own efforts. Like, speedily and simply
speedily.
Reproducing your own efforts
Yes.
is what grows your business. Like magnifying your influence, magnifying the community that you have, has to do with doing things that are simple. And when you meet somebody, the more unbelievable you are and the more technical questions you answer, let's say at the mixer that you're at, the thing that will turn someone off at the mixer is their belief that they have to know everything that you know.
Right.
So the more scientific we get, the more people think that they need to know it. So like if it's so scientific that you've had to create a Facebook group around it, then everybody that's in it thinks it's about that. And then everybody who joins your business thinks that they need a group too.
Right.
So, you know, the nature of us even cutting this video almost triggers the feeling that other people need to cut the video too. So, you know, the really neat thing is it's about simplifying everything and saying, hey, how do we just streamline it all? So we wanted to cut the video just to say, from a connection perspective or from a DAM, directional awareness marketing viewpoint, how do we take it, like Jody and I were chatting earlier, and she's a Champ Age, she's got a Champ Age, she's got a team of 7s and 6s all over the place, but she's got like 500 chats on her Facebook. 95% of the chats are not revenue generating chats. They're chats that could be answered.
Tell me about the sodium, tell me about this, tell me about this.
They're chats that could be answered in the same 3 places we just referenced. The magazine, the Facebook page under the videos tab, and on the website under Learn, FAQ, or Keto U. Those 3 places are where everything is housed.
The people are not the resource. Resources are resources, and the people are validation.
And the validation from people, like the confidence and the certainty of a human who's been through what that person's going through, which might just be, you know, the energy, the focus, the fat loss, or the lack thereof. The connection to them to another human being is how everyone that's watching this built their business.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, Natalie and I had 10 hours invested on the telephone before we physically met and before she had 1 sample. And before she saw anything. We communicated with one another.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, it's about relationship building and creating certainty through a conversation. These tools and resources are additional, you know, they're additional contributors to that person's curiosity. So, I'm fired up, you guys. We're gonna have a lot more content around this particular topic and more tools and more resources to simplify the thing too.
This is, if you nail this, you can build a monster business.
Woo!
That's it.